And let's see. Record for this date, 71 degrees in 1975. And here you go, 14 below in 1972. Oh, my goodness sake. Sunrise this morning was at 6:56, 4 minutes ago. Sunset, 4:24. All right, that's it. It is 7 o'clock. Have a good day.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump acknowledges the Democrats are right. He says prices are too high. But the president says that's because of the economic train wreck that was the Biden administration. He says he's working hard to correct the situation. In the aftermath of Bidenomics, more people have been turning to GoFundMe for help with basic needs, things such as housing and food expenses. Following yesterday's deadly shooting on the Kentucky State University campus in Frankfort, a suspect's in custody, 48-year-old Indiana man. One person was killed, another hurt in what police say was a targeted attack. Voters in Miami have elected Eileen Higgins mayor. First time in close to 30 years that a Democrat has been elected as mayor of Miami. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 7 points. NASDAQ futures off 26. More details at srnnews.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Every day I speak with people who are worried and are feeling a lot of pressure because of credit card debt. That's why I'm very proud of what we do at Trinity. We just help. We give people the support they need, along with a real plan to become debt-free. Credit card bills are consolidated into a single monthly payment that is much less than what they were paying before. Most of our members end up saving thousands and even may improve their credit scores by as much as 200 points. I know from the bottom of my heart that I'm making a difference in the lives of the people we help. It just makes me really happy.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Julie, and I'm a Trinity counselor. Call me and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-936-5496.
Your home for Goodland High School athletics, the Denver Broncos, Tech Tiger basketball, and the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Connor Schuh. This is Goodland's Rocket 102.5, KKCI FM, Goodland, an NWKS radio station. The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
Merry Christmas from the Farmers State Bank in Oakley. We invite you to stop into our lobby for coffee and cookies throughout the month of December as our small way of saying thank you to our loyal customers. We appreciate your business in 2025 and throughout our 118 years of community banking and look forward to serving you in the new year. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. The state of Kansas got the green light for a $166 million plan to expand broadband internet access to the areas of the state where that's scarce. This Monday, Governor Laura Kelly announced that the National Telecommunications and Information Administration approved that $166 million proposal for the Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Program. In a news release, Kelly said the NTIA's approval of Kansas's proposal brings our state one step closer to connecting every home, farm, business, and community with access to reliable internet. The plan is meant to expand broadband access to over 26,000 Kansas homes and businesses. Under new guidelines, the expanded service will consist of 67% fixed wireless service, which is better for rural areas, 30% fiber optic, and 3% satellite internet. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
We're in a roller coaster pattern. Today we'll see a significant cool down, 20 degrees into the mid to upper 40s with lighter northwesterly winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. That'll keep the area dry, but clouds will linger with lows around 35. Tomorrow, temperatures bounce back aggressively due to returning westerly downsloping winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Highs will be in the upper 60s, lows around 35 again, and then another cold front slides through Thursday night, dropping Friday's highs to around 40 in McCook and to around 50 in Burlington, with more clouds and north to southwest variable winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday likely stays cooler in the 40s. Sunday a little warmer in the lower 50s. Any precipitation would be minor with lows 20 to 25. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, highs return into the 60s, lows in the upper 20s and low 30s as high pressure builds in from the west. This meteorologist Chris Strummick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
This holiday season, jolly old St. Nick and his helpful elves at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware are stocked up and ready to make Christmas merry and bright. From festive decor and handy tools to gift cards and great stocking stuffers, they've got something for everyone. Go bigger with Traeger or Weber grills or even Blackstone griddles, Yeti coolers, or powerful Ego snowblowers that make winter easy. Make holiday shopping simple. Shop local at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bolden loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the insurance agency, Pest Away LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work. Kick right corner. Burnett tries three. In and out. Rebound into the grasp of Mara. Pivots and dunks it without jumping with his left hand. Using all that 7-3 frame to slam it home.
Trying to complete the comeback. Hyman from Trisettle. The return pass. Trisettle trying to sneak it inside. Nugent Hopkins. Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins. Shot. Rebound. Score. Connor McDavid. 1 second left.
Lee into the paint. Stop and go. Blocked. Caravan got him. Here's Malachi Smith, 2 for Caravan. Back to Alex for 3. And Caravan! A little D, a little O.
Bostovich to inbound. Rice. Got it! Robert Wright III wins it for the Cougars.
And good Wednesday morning, everybody. Off and rolling here on another edition of the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rock 1025, NWKSradio.net, and the Hurl AAA GMC video stream on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Beautiful start to this morning. At least the wind's not blowing. I was walking home from some Tech basketball last night. It was quite blustery night, but 30 degrees out. Going to be a cooler day today. Temperatures yesterday, you probably could have got away with shorts and a T-shirt if you wanted to, if you're one of those type of people. Yeah. Some people would have looked at you weird, but today temperature is going to be barely cracking the 50s, upper 40s. Expected high here on this Wednesday, the 10th. Mr. Schuh, how are we feeling today?
We're doing well. We're getting closer and closer to some weekend basketball. Excited for that. Buckeyes didn't win last night, so not so happy about that, but we're good.
Oh, come on. Your expectations weren't to beat Illinois, were you?
Well,
actually,
no,
especially for that pitiful crowd that was there last night there at the Value Center Arena.
Ooh, you didn't watch the game then?
I saw bits and pieces, but I saw a great video. It was a video beforehand. I think it was like 10 minutes before tip. Must have been a late arriving crowd. They're like, here's the video 10 minutes before tip, and there was not a soul there.
I will say I'm one of the biggest critics of that place. It can get pretty dead, but on the broadcast, it sounded pretty loud, and we had our chances to take control in that game, but it was a classic Ohio State basketball blunders.
They were pumping in crowd noise there.
They don't. I've been in there. I've been to so many games there. I would know if they pumped in crowd noise. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Well, good to hear. Yeah, I saw that last night they lost to Illinois, but I wasn't shocked. I mean, Ohio State's in the bottom half of the conference. Illinois is in the top half. So that's just the way it is. Today's program, lots to get to on the show. Jared Stanford has let me know that he is ready for today. So he will be joining us. He was unable to join us yesterday. He will join us today. Colby Community College head men's basketball coach of the Trojans play in action tonight, I believe. Have to check. No, actually, I don't know. I don't actually think they might have a bye today. I got to double check this. I'll double check this real quickly. Make sure I'm not crazy on this. Maybe they are on a bye. Maybe they're not. I'll double check this real quickly, or they might be taking on Coffeyville today. Nope, they have a bye today. They don't play until Saturday is their next event. So no game tonight for CCC basketball. So we'll visit with him, though, about the season that has been for the Trojan men. Been a little bit of a tougher start this year, but we'll see. Maybe a win that they recently got here this last time out will help us springboard them into the second part of the season. I've got some college basketball thoughts. I'm sure Connor does too. We'll get to segment 3, particularly about one team that Connor just loves. I would love to talk about that coming up in segment number 3. In the walk-off, the picks are in, or I should say we know who's going to where the Royals and Rockies will be picking in this year's upcoming 2026 MLB draft. Where are those? We'll get to that. Some other winter meeting news as well in the walk-off. And then I always love it when people text me or call me or stop me and have thoughts or questions about sports topics, because I love it, because I don't think of everything. I don't. But I had a listener text me last night, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing some of his thoughts on how to fix college football's postseason problem. And I wanted to get into that today. Maybe have some other thoughts that we can come up together to help fix college football's postseason problem. There's a lot of problems. I mean, whether it is how teams get selected to go to the playoff, whether it's the lack of participation in bowl games, whether it's the portal that opens up before the season's even over, all these kind of things. And I want to read off some of the things that this listener sent to me, and I thought it was very, very interesting to see those thoughts. And he's a guy who's worked in big-time college athletics before, so I feel like he has maybe better idea on some things than maybe I do. Before we get to that, though, last night, you're talking about, of course, high school basketball. You're getting excited for Thursday. And don't get me wrong, Thursday is a full day. A lot of basketball Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on the high school ranks. There was some hoops last night. The Castle Rock Classic got underway yesterday. Had Quinter boys beating Pawnee Heights 78-32. They will face Rollins County, who beat Wheatland Grinnell 53-48. Quinter girls with a pounding of Pawnee Heights 73-28. They will take on Wheatland Grinnell, who beat Rawlins County 57-42. By the way, Quinter boys and girls teams to watch this year. They are really, really good, and both teams ranked, I believe, in the KBCA rankings that came out yesterday. So check them out. They're going to have a really, really good season. Rawlins County with those losses. Rawlins County girls will take on Pawnee Heights. Wheatland Grinnell boys will take on Pawnee Heights as well in the consolation bracket. Oakley, who's also at the Castle Rock Classic for the first time in a long time. I don't know if they've ever been there, but they haven't been there in a while because they're usually at the Purple and Gold in Waukene. They were there in Quinter, and they both got wins. Girls winning over Logan Palco 69-21. Boys beating Dighton 59-41. And then up north of the border in McCook, Nebraska, at the Cattle Trail Tournament, Decatur Community, with a 1-1 day, the Red Devil boys lost by 2 in a classic to Medicine Valley, 47-45. They faced Juanita Palisade on Friday. And then the Lady Devils, they defeated Arapahoe 55-50. They will be in action on Friday against MHC. And I admit I did not look that one up on what MHC stands for. It's an abbreviation of some sort. But that was high school basketball last night. And can't forget about Fort Hays Tech Northwest hoops last night. I was there inside the Max doing some coverage for the KJCCC Sports Network. And Fort Hays Tech women can't get off the schneid. They lose again. They lost by 40 last night, 83-43. They've now lost 24 in a row dating back to last season. Victoria Fernandez led Tech with 14 points, but a slow start in the first quarter. Too much to overcome for Fort Hays Tech Northwest women last night. Yeah, I think it's just a tough deal. They have 10 girls on the entire roster, and most teams play 10 girls. And visiting with Coach Klein about his team yesterday, he says, our starting 5, I feel pretty good. I feel like they can play in this league, but we need more depth. We need more pieces on our roster. We need more development on our roster. And I know he's doing that right now and working through recruiting and things, but he needs a full year here to try and get things figured out, all that kind of stuff. But they just got off way too a slow start. The men's game was highly entertaining because the 40 Tech Northwest men led early. They were up. They went stride for stride with 15th ranked Barton, then found themselves down early in the second half by 14, only to storm back and get the win 74-71 before the final buzzer sounds, which you saw it against Independence, where once again they get down by double figures in the second half, yet turn on the switch and come roaring back to win, which they did, winning by 3. So that was an interesting game. Khalil Kelly off the bench, 21 points to lead the Tigers, and Josiah Shields with some very, very good, with some clutch free throw shooting down the stretch to help seal the win for the Tigers, who, I was visiting with Bradshaw yesterday, the head coach, and he goes, I think I'm going to shake things up tonight. He goes, I'm just feeling a little different. Going to shake things up. So he started a couple guys that hadn't started all season. One guy who really hadn't played a whole lot got to start, and Jeremiah Thornton provided 9 points. I mean, not too many times when you look at the box score, Connor, in a basketball game, you see one guy in double figures, no one else was, and you won. Rarely do you see that.
And they managed 75 points out of it, too. It was just, it looks like, from the box score, it looks like a good team effort.
It was a total team effort, and Barton's got some really talented players, but they had a couple of guys foul out with about 3 minutes or less left, and I think that impacted them a little bit. And Barton, I think, missed a couple of crucial free throws down the stretch, which resulted in Fort Hays Tech Northwest being able to get the win there at the very end. But as Coach Bradshaw said, they needed it. They needed it badly. They had lost 4 in a row. Heads were kind of getting down because, they started the year off 5-1, and all of a sudden you're back to 500. And you're like, what in the world are we doing wrong? Why can't we win some of these games? They were blown out in a couple of them because some teams were just white hot, and able to get a win against a 15th ranked squad. And if you can carry that momentum into Saturday, where they take on Cowley County on the road, and if somehow, some way you could win that, which is very difficult to win down there in Cali. I don't think the Tigers have ever won down there, or when they were the Mavericks, I don't think they've ever won down at Cali. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think they ever have. And so that'd be a really, really tough game to win. But if they could, that would be a humongous momentum boost for them going into the second half, or after the Christmas break part of the season. But an exciting come from behind win over a ranked Barton team, 74-71 last night for the Fort Hays Tech Northwest men. There was this great play last night by Matija Odasevich. So he gets posted up on the block, right? and they have a guy along the so there's a guy in the 3-point corner, there's a guy on the wing, and he's there on the block, all on the same side, Connor. And they throw the ball in, and as the ball gets thrown, a guy backdoor cuts along the baseline, and Otasevich just takes the ball as it's coming to him, lets it, and he just taps it over his head, no look, and hits Josiah Shields right in the hands, who then gets a reversal layup out of it.
That's a play. That's a guy who studies his playbook and knows exactly where that guy's going to be.
Otasevich, he had some he plays with some personality. That's the way I would put it a little bit. If you're on the opposition, you probably would like to slap him in the face or punch him. He plays with that kind of personality, but he had some fun last night.
He flaunts it a little bit.
He does. He does flaunt it. Anyway, yeah, some interesting stuff there. Oh, and one more thing in JUCO sports before we get on to our question here in the first segment. Congratulations to Colby Community College setter. I'm going to butcher her last name again. Amanda, is it Caputi?
I think it's Caputi.
Amanda Caputi. That's why I've called her all the time. She earned a NJCAA second team All-America honors for the second straight year. She led the country in assists at over 11 and over 1,100 assists, almost short of 1,200 this season, powering Colby to the nation's top kill rate. Did the KJCCC Player of the Year. She earned second team All-America honors, but she's going to leave Colby as the most dominant setter, one of the most dominant setters in the program history. Congratulations to Amanda Caputi, which I'm sure I'm butchering that last name, and I apologize for that. If you don't want to butcher it, put the pronunciations on the roster. That is one thing I wish they'd do more in the Jayhawk. Put the pronunciations on the roster. That'd be so nice.
That would be very helpful.
Just want to let you know, for all the ADs out there listening, which I'm sure there's not many, maybe one, when the roster is put out there, put the pronunciations at the bottom. I would appreciate it. Save a lot of headaches. Save me a lot of headaches, because there's not a lot of Joe Smiths out there, or John Birds like there was last night for Barton. There was a guy named John Bird, who, by the way, probably could have played defensive back in college. He was 5 foot. They said 5'10". I'm guessing he was 5'8", but he was built like a truck. You don't want to get in that guy's way. Be a great defensive back. Anyway, moving on here on the Morning Blitz. Like I said, Jared Stanford will join us coming up here in about 10 to 15 minutes. I got a text message last night, and I was visiting with this person before the game started a little bit, but we were talking about college football, and I was telling, we were talking about the discussion of, teams skipping out on bowls and a lot of things. And so there were questions. So his question to me was, how do you fix it, Ross? And I said, I don't know. And then I had to go, get to work and had to get started calling games. And he ended up texting me about his thoughts on how all this should go down. So here were the things that this texter thought how we could fix the college football postseason. I want to hear what you have to say. He starts by eliminating all conference championships. No more conference championship games, I'm guessing, is the first thing. The last Saturday would have been the first round. So last Saturday, so that was what, the 6th. The first Saturday in December would have been the first round of the 16-team NCAA tournament. Top 16, no buys. So start there, no buys, just 16 teams. You each got to play a first-round game. Teams ranked 17 through 32 would play in an NIT-style format. So a separate football tournament for the teams ranked 17 through 32. Thoughts on that? So there's that.
Well, quickly, if you do an NIT style format, you see how basketball teams, they opt out of the NIT. So I feel like you would get a lot of that.
Like I said, I'm reading these texts. We'll have some more thoughts on this. He says you would take 2 weeks off before the championships on the 1st of January is when the championship would take place, or pretty darn close to that. And then the portal would open on January 2nd. And then he says, if you want to transfer, it'll cost you a semester of school, not a whole year, but a semester of school. Because I think that's probably the biggest thing that I heard him say. And also, you hear coaches say, is that the calendar is so wacky that how do you make it all work? Football is it's a fall semester type sport, not a spring semester, but we're playing into the winter because the games don't get over till mid-January. And I think a lot of coaches, if you're going to have the portal open on January 2nd, they need to have the whole thing done. Season, everything needs to be done before January 2nd. That's the way it needs to be done, according to the coaches. I don't know. Any thoughts on this, that of these things that were mentioned to me by this texter? By the way, I also said, would you start the season earlier? And he said he would agree. Yes, we have to start the season earlier. So maybe you have to start in mid-August or even early August with the football season for college football.
I mean, I said what I said about the 17 through 32 thing, but I think instead of getting that transfer portal penalty, I feel like instead you could just move the open date of the portal to just after all the playoff and everything ends, just from where it is now. Because I think just the more teams they try to put in the tournament, if that was a thing like this, what he said, 16, right?
16, so only 4 more, which honestly could happen next year.
I feel like then you're just going to get more complaints, and then it's going to just keep building and building until it's just ridiculous. So I feel like, I mean, obviously, I don't think there's a perfect number, so maybe 16 could work. You never know. But I think maybe
it doesn't matter really what the number is. I think, like you said, there's going to be complaining no matter what it is. Just where do you draw the line on where you're like, okay, why is this team in, and are they deserving of being in the playoff? Like, are they?
And that's the question. I mean, because that's when you think about those numbers. I mean, is there a team that's like number 16? If they run into the number 1 team, they just get annihilated and lose by 40, which hopefully that's not the case, because then you have a parity problem.
We saw that, last year. We saw Penn State just run SMU out of the building, but, that was partially caused by turnovers.
Yeah, I don't think that was expected either. That was kind of...
No, maybe it was a little fluky, maybe.
Yeah.
Still credit to Penn State. Don't take anything away from them. But then you look at this year we could see possibly James Madison get blown out by Oregon. Maybe. We don't know. We could see Tulane has already gotten blown up by Ole Miss. Could it happen again? Possible. So we could see blowouts no matter what. But, then there's that year, where there could be a team that's really, really good. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see that. This texter chimes in. He goes, you don't think Tulane's going to get the crap bit on this weekend? No, I mean, I'm guessing Tulane probably will. I mean, there's going to be blowouts, but there could be a year, where a team gets in. Like, I may have to go back a few years, but remember when Cincinnati was really good? They made it to the Final Four of the college football playoff. The year before that, though, they didn't make the playoff, but they would have made it maybe in this format. And maybe that was a team that could have won that type of game.
And they were in the American then, so that was totally unheard of.
Like I said, so there's going to be examples, I think, going forward of teams that could make runs that are from the lower divisions, that could get in. I think there's going to be examples of that going forward in the future. Here's the thing about talking about moving the portal back. I mean, if you move the portal back to where it's after the season, so January, whatever that is, 24th or something like that, or halfway through January, then those guys that are in the portal, they have 2 weeks to they have a couple weeks aside, then they aren't going to make they're not going to be at school. They're not going to be in school. They're not going to make the cutoff for being there academically.
Well, typically, I think guys finish out the school year with their school, and then
That's not
go.
What happens. No,
I'm pretty sure
at Ohio State that doesn't happen. Guys leave because coaches want the guys in the portal to be with their team in the spring for spring ball and for summer conditioning. All that.
I have some evidence. I have seen guys that are in the portal on campus before as a student. So,
well, they could be there on a visit.
I'm saying students that are in the portal from Ohio State and they've already committed to another school, seen them walking around on campus, walking to class, doing whatever, going to the dining hall. It's still they still stick around for a little bit.
Were they going to Roast Beef State or something like that?
Because you can't. I think it was. I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been Sean Stewart, who's going to Oregon. So,
okay,
a little different.
Fine, but my point is, is he playing this fall?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious. So, I mean, I guess I mean, if you don't want to be there for summer, if you want to be there and not join until the summertime, I guess you could. But most coaches would like a guy to be there for spring ball, so that you're there to learn the offense.
Oh, that's a basketball player too. So,
well, that's different.
Different story.
That's a different story. We're talking football here right now. That's a completely different story. So no wonder why. But yeah, I think first and foremost, you're going to have to move the calendar up. I think you're going to have to start there. And they're going to have to move the calendar up. You're going to have to start the season earlier. You need to try to get the season over with earlier. So then the portal can open in early January. So then you have a week or 10 days to then guys to decide if they want to go. And then they can be at the new schools in time for the first. I think that will solve a lot of problems. I think first and foremost, it doesn't matter how many teams you pick. There's going to be some teams that get left out that are deserving and some teams that are getting in that don't deserve to be there, no matter what number of teams you have. So I don't know if you can really fix that. I do think we need to get rid of the committee and go back to the computer rankings, though. I do believe that.
Or just get a different committee. I mean,
no, because everybody's going to have a committee like that.
Yeah, you just can't have ADs as part of the committee. That's just, I don't understand how that went through and how that is a thing. I mean, there's special interests in too many spots there.
Now, like I said, I just think that I just believe that there needs to be some reworking that needs to be done. I think probably with the calendar a little bit. But at the same time, as I think about this portal, in the time it is right now, yes, it's not fair to the teams in the college football playoff, but even though they may need some help in the portal, do they need it because they're honestly playing in the national championship? They've got a really good football team in this example. It's kind of like the NFL draft. When you're really good, you pick last. When you're really bad, you pick early. That kind of thing. Well, guess what? When you're really good, you don't get to really use the portal that much because you're really good. Teams that aren't good need the portal more than you do. They're going to get first chance of the portal.
And they still end up using it.
Oh, they do.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say they don't use it, but I know it's a fascinating conversation. I kind of honestly like the idea of NIT tournament format. And I hear you, though. I mean, there's going to be guys that opt out and teams. I think as a coach, as a football program, as an institution, you just need to sit there and say, we're going to play.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we're going to play. And here's where, and I heard this on another radio station, and I think it was brilliant. The coach goes, here's what's going to happen. We're going to play in the bowl game. Me and the coaches are going to step outside the room. We're going to come back in 5 minutes. Whenever we get back in here, who's ever in here, that's who we're going with. If you don't want to play, that's fine. Leave. So you go in there, come in, and then guess what? You're good to go.
And also, kind of to that point, I feel like the bowl games are, well, you don't need the NIT format because we already have bowl games. And it's like people are already going out.
Well, maybe the NIT will have like the crown. Maybe they'll have a big NIL pot at the end of it. And
we don't need more tournaments.
Well, you're not going to have a tournament. Well, you are. You're going to have a tournament there for money.
God, if there was, I mean, I could see them doing it for money because that's all NCAA is now. It's a cash grab. I mean, at this point,
I honestly could see the bowl games if they want to stick around. That's what they're going to have to do.
Oh, quick sidebar. For money grab purposes, this is basketball, but did you see there's an idea being floated about like early tournament basketball, NCAA basketball tournament in Dubai?
Yes, I did see this.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's going to, unless they're going to change rules about money and paying student athletes, unless they're going to change that somehow, some way and put a cap on it or something like that, then, if you go to a bowl game, it used to be you got swag, remember this, guys used to get like PlayStation 4s and Rolex watch or something like that. Now it's just here, straight cash.
Simpler times.
Better times is what it was.
Yeah.
They're better times. I don't know. Fascinating. Thank you to that texter for chiming in and giving his thoughts on all that yesterday. I thought that was very interesting to see all that. And I there's something that has to be done. They got to make some changes. I think first and foremost, it starts with moving the calendar up. You're starting the season earlier. That would help with a lot of these issues. But honestly, like I told the texter before we ended our conversation, said there was nothing wrong. There was nothing really that wrong with what was going on before. It's like we got bored. We got bored and we started fidgeting with things, and all of a sudden you broke it.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened. All right, we're going to get to break. Jared Stanford waiting patiently for us. We'll talk some Colby Community College Trojan basketball next here on the Blitz.
We've been serving ag families for generations because we believe farming isn't just a job, it's a legacy. Whether you're just starting out or expanding your operation, F&B Bank has flexible lending solutions designed for you. This is Loan Officer Kennedy Frank at F&B Bank. We're proud to be your hometown ag lender, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Wright with the Anderson's Trade Group in your morning market update. It is December 10th. March corn, 446. May 26 corn, 454. July 26 corn, 459 and a half. March 26 KC wheat, 522 and 3/4. May 26 KC wheat, 534 and 3/4. July 26 KC wheat, 546 and a half. January soybean, 1083 and a quarter. March 26 soybean, 1095. May 26 soybeans, 1105 and 3/4. Dow Jones futures are currently down 3 points at 47,610. S&P 500 futures are currently down 1 point at 6,847. NASDAQ futures are currently down 23 points at 25,676. Gold futures are currently down $7.20 at 4,229. Crude is currently up 5 cents at 58.30. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our Freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office, Jared Loss, Tyler Gosch, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Production sale. The easy-to-use online platform makes it super easy to take bids from anywhere in the world. Buyers can place pre-bids and real-time bids, browse your sales catalog, and watch your sale broadcast live. LivestockMarket.com is also the ideal platform for private treaty sales and timed online-only auctions. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, horses, sheep, and hay. Sell on your terms today with LivestockMarket.com.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
All the sports you love, all in one place.
Ooh, this will come in handy.
This is the Morning Blitz.
I want to thank our text line. They are such good listeners. So I was talking earlier in the show about Decatur Community Basketball and who they were going to play. They're going to play MHC, and it's like I forgot to look who that up. And 3 people, Jared H., Larry, and Steve, go Maywood Hayes Center. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys filling in that information for me. I'm a Nebraska guy, but I admit I never played Maywood Hayes Center in my entire career of high school sports. It's still too far west for where I was. Nonetheless, let's move on here on the Morning Blitz. We're pleased to welcome into the program Colby Community College head men's basketball coach Jared Stanford, who joins us on the Hoover Lumber's Hardware Hotline. Good morning, Coach. How are we feeling today?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
We're doing well. Doing well. Thanks again for joining us today. Really appreciate you spending some time with us. I got to start off, Coach. The big thing that stood out to me about looking at this season, I think you guys lost quite a bit from last year. You returned some guys from this year's team, but it was the struggles, particularly defensively, it seemed like to this point in time of the year, which is why I think you guys have gotten off to a 3-9 start.
Yeah, no, we lost. Obviously when you lose the freshman player of the year in the conference and you lose a bunch of guys that started and played a ton of minutes for you, and they're all doing good. Guys, Mervin came on really late for us down the stretch last year. He's off at a D2 right now, he's averaging almost 18 points and 10 rebounds a game. So, we lost a ton of really good players last year. And we got some really good players in. We've been hurt, just truthfully. The Cloud game was the first time since the first 5 minutes against Sterling JV that we had our roster even close to healthy, where guys are even active. We've had so many guys inactive that this Cloud game was the first time that we actually got to see it together to be able to really see what we can and can't do. But there's been a ton of struggles defensively early on. And, a big part of that is just understanding what we're doing and seeing it in real time. We had a ton of success in October when we were healthy. And truthfully, in all the jamborees, we went 6-1 and played really well, beat two teams that were ranked top 25 in the country to start the year when we were all healthy. And so we knew once we got healthy, we had to have a chance to really get rolling and get everything connected.
Coach, looking at that last game, and to your point, everyone's healthy. It seemed like the offense and defense really connected for that win. What did you see from your team in that game?
Just the resiliency, honestly. There's, when you go through a struggle, teams can, go a couple ways. It can continue to just be a struggle, and guys can really point the finger at one another, and things can tear apart at the seams. And we were able to really stay positive. If you would have been coming to our practices during that time, you would have been like, man, this does not look like a team that's losing. They were working hard, they were competing, and it was really just trying to get the confidence that we've earned the right to win into our guys. And there was a lot of games in this stretch where we were right there. It's single-digit games. It's a one-possession game with 2 minutes to go in the game. And it's just getting them to understand that they've earned that right, that they've practice that hard, that they believe in themselves, so they have to believe in themselves and have to believe in one another. And really trying to get that messaging through to them, about, well, we can't do, if we do this, we can't lose right now. We can't lose. You can't talk like that. You got to talk about, we will win. Like, I will do this. I can do this. I believe in this. And really getting negative imprint thoughts out of their head and really pouring towards the positive imprint thoughts to be able to help them move themselves forward.
Jared Stanford, our guest here on the Hoover Lumber's Hardware Hotline, Colby Community College head men's basketball coach. The Trojans off to a tough start this year, 3-9 overall. Just picked up their first conference win with a 5-point victory over Cloud County this past Saturday. Coach, you mentioned the injuries and stuff. Is it just a bad luck deal where you have those kind of injuries, or what are your thoughts on those guys getting injured just all at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I would say that. We've there've been ankle rolls, one's on a layup where a kid gets underneath of him, rolls an ankle, one kid shoots a three and somebody steps underneath of him, rolls his ankle, and so, their ankle, shins, influenza, we've had illnesses and it's just the nature of the beast that you're going to have stretches in the season where you have that. Ours just kind of seem to all come at one time for a lot of people, and so, guys with hip pointers trying to play through stuff. And so it's been it's been a challenge in that. I think it's been good for us. We've played a ton of guys. I mean, we've had 13 guys playing a lot right now. So hopefully we're done being freshmen. Because we've played a lot. We've had a lot of kids play a lot of minutes right now, and so hopefully we get going here from moving forward from Cloud and moving on. We can remain healthy and keep going. Because it's just. It's just hard when you're in a scholarship situation. Every dollar amount is very valuable, and every kid that you have that has to be healthy. That's just how college basketball works. You see it no matter what level you're at. You see it, one or two guys goes down, and it can majorly shift the program and the roles in the team. You got guys that are really comfortable in certain roles, and then they're asked to do more. They're not as comfortable, and so it's just getting everybody healthy. So it's a team game. Everybody connects together, and sometimes when you're missing a few guys, it's hard to connect everything.
Coach, you mentioned having to play a lot of guys that maybe weren't ready but had to step in at these last few weeks during these times when these other guys were injured. How have they grown, and how do you feel like they're going to impact your team going forward in the rest of the season?
I think they're going to impact it greatly. I think we've seen huge growth, especially, I was just very encouraged from the Cloud game where guys, we had guys that came in and played 8, 9, 10 minutes and were greatly impactful in a positive way. Whereas before, maybe they were impactful on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, they looked like they didn't want the basketball, and so to see guys starting to put both sides of the floor together, was very, very encouraging that, we're moving through this thing and getting to the other end of it, and I told our guys, and I've been really, really positive with these young men, that you got to understand, I've been through this before. No coach really wants to say that they've been through a losing streak before, but, I had a situation at Labette where we were in the same thing, and, it was in the month of January. We didn't win a game in the month of January. But the guys stayed together. We got it figured out and went all in tournament final, and closed out February really strong, had a ton of momentum, and made it to the first ever region championship in Labette Community College's history. You know what I mean? Last time they had been to the region championship was 1961 when they were Parsons Community College. So I was able to tell those guys, that experience and try to help them understand that there's a process to it, and as long as they stay together, because it's about them. It's not about the X's and O's. It's about the young men believing in one another, that they're capable of winning, and it's our job as coaches to try to encourage that and get their mindset to where they have a positive belief in themselves.
DJ Kaysen was a player that contributed for you last year, coming off the bench, and now this year is turned and trying to be the starter and is trying to be kind of that leading scorer for your line. How has he developed here in his second year under your guys' leadership?
Look, the DJ is a tremendous player, but he's becoming a leader. DJ is always a really positive human being, and getting him to communicate that positivity and coach and help coach on the floor has been a huge growth for him. He's usually pretty good about doing what he needs to do at the level that he needs to do it. Now, communicating to others and getting others up and getting others involved has been a huge growth for him, and we're starting to see it carry over in the other guys and become more infectious.
Our coach, Jared Stanford, is our guest here on the Morning Blitz, Colby Community College head men's basketball coach. Last year, Coach, we had a great conversation with you talking about, recruiting local athletes, and particularly last year where there was a lot of great basketball players kind of here in the Northwest Kansas area. You recruit a couple of those guys to your roster, and Daniel Kramer from Dighton and Rhett Katz from Logan Palco. How have those guys impacted your guys' roster here, being a couple of local kids?
Yeah, no, they've done a good job. Daniel and Rhett both had big games the other night where they came in and, scored 5 points off the bench and were really good defensively for us. And so, they're helping out. We also have Trey Allen, is here with us, and then Owen Reese was from Hodgman County, and so we have Kellen Seminoes, a kid from Rose Hill. So we got quite a few Kansas kids that are pretty close by that are really working and really helping provide some stability to our team for sure.
You only got one game left before the holiday break that's coming up on the road at Coffeyville here on Saturday. What do you want to see out of your guys to know that you're going in the right direction when they get back from the holiday break?
This might sound a little bit strange, but the one big factor that I noticed in our game against Cloud was the activity in our bench. Our bench was incredible. Our team was just really, really a team. They were connected with great energy. They were communicating with one another. I think we ended up with over 5 bench warnings telling our guys to sit down, and so the energy that they gave to each other and the fact that they were focusing on serving one another was extremely important to me, because those are the things that can carry on, and those are the things that will carry you deep into the playoffs when you can be connected as a unit. Even going through the tough stretch that we went through, they've been able to really stay together and really support each other. And so that was a big difference from a bunch of our games, to be honest with you, and so to see our guys really, really cheer for one another. We don't have cheerleaders. We don't have any of that. So for our guys to be starting defensive chants and starting and being loud and trying to bring energy to the event center was the first thing that they've done all year. And now that we just got to continue to support each other that way on the road, because that's all you got is you on the road. And so it's important to really continue that process.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Have a great finish to this first part of the season, and also happy holidays to you and your family.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your time, and Merry Christmas.
Once again, that is head coach of the Colby Community College Trojans, Jared Stanford there, basketball coach, and also from what I've been told, a cooking savant. I've been told he's quite the cooker. He does all different types of things, homemade pizzas. He's quite the, I heard he's a good cook. That's what I've heard before. Nice. So let's get to a break. When we come back, we are going to wrap up the show with some other college basketball thoughts. I've got a thought about Connor's favorite program next to Ohio State, and some more next here on the Wednesday edition of the Morning Blitz.
3 days of exciting high school basketball are on tap. And champions will be crowned December 13th, along with a selection of all tournament teams, free throw shooting champions, and boys and girls 3-point shootout winners. Don't miss the fun and excitement of the 37th annual Topside Tip-Off Basketball Tournament at Goodland's Max Jones Fieldhouse, December 11th through the 13th.
Be listening Friday mornings at 8:05 a.m. Central Time for the 790 KXXX auction block and hear the latest sales from Syracuse Commission Company in Syracuse, Kansas. Contact operator Terry Devon at 620-384-5259.
At S&W Supply, they're more than just auto parts. You can get your tools, grills, and everything you need to make Thanksgiving prep a breeze. Even that last-minute power washer for the patio. Stop by S&W Supply and be ready for anything this holiday.
Throughout every community in Kansas, you find hardworking people who make our state better each day. They bring their best to everything they do, determined to reach their full potential and make life better, not only for themselves, but for every citizen in Kansas. They are the soldiers of the Kansas Army National Guard. They proudly serve part-time in their local communities. Learn more about service with the Kansas Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/KS. Sponsored by the Kansas Army National Guard. Aired by the Kansas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
It's the most fashionable time of the year at Lulu's Boutique in downtown Goodland. Find the perfect holiday outfits and gifts and enjoy extended shopping hours. Open till 5:30. For all of us at Lulu's, we wish you many blessings this Christmas and a joyful new year.
Looking for the perfect place to stay this holiday season? Cameron's Colonial in Atwood, Kansas welcomes you with old-fashioned charm and modern comfort. Gather the family, relax by the tree, and make new memories in this beautiful 1905 home, just steps from Lake Atwood and downtown.
It's the Morning Blitz.
We're having a great time, couple of laughs, everything's nice.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8 Mountain, 8 to 9 Central.
About 5 minutes to the top of the hour here on this Wednesday, December the 10th. Don't forget, go to ndvksradio.net for our events page. You can see all the great things happening over the holiday season. Also, of course, don't forget, busy weekend ahead with high school basketball tournament. It's already started, with the Castle Rock Classic, the purple and gold, but it doesn't get a whole lot busier. It's probably the busiest weekend of December coming up here this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You got the top side. You've got, of course, Castle Rock and purple and gold, and the Brewster Sagebrush Shootout gets rolling. And, of course, in Colby, you've got the Eagle, boys and girls Eagle Invite wrestling tournament, dual tournament going on there. So lots and lots of local sports happen this coming weekend. So if you're like me, rest up tonight because the rest of the week is going to be a very hectic one. Last night I saw that Michigan put an absolute beat down on Villanova. I got to ask, anybody who watches college basketball, I don't watch every game. But if there is one thing that consistently stands out to me, is every time Michigan takes the floor, they are beating the living pants off of everybody. Do you agree with that statement there, Connor? I know you're real thrilled to talk about your favorite program, but
it's pretty, to this point, it's true. They struggled to start the year. They beat Wake Forest by 1 and they beat TCU by 4. And that's, at first, everyone's like, oh my God, is Michigan not that great? Because those are middling high major programs, at least this year. And then they just turned it to another gear once they hit that Players Era tournament. And then they were beaten up on San Diego State, Auburn, Gonzaga, and they just did it to another power conference team in Villanova. So they're pretty for real. And they're probably the number 1 team in the nation right now. No doubt about it.
Arizona's number 1 though.
But it probably should be Michigan is what I'm saying, which is crazy. But I think they've certainly played like it. And Arizona's great too, but Michigan has just, like you said, they have just beat up everybody, at least in this last 5-game stretch. And it's all power conference opponents and 3 of them really good teams. So I got to tip my cap. They got a good squad.
I just feel like every time I see Michigan playing and I see a score, I may not be watching. They are just waxing the floor with whoever they're playing. Who's their best player? Is Axelrod?
It's Yaxel Landeborg is his
There you go.
name.
Yaxel Landeborg. There you go.
Transfer from UAB. He might win he's not winning the Woodard Award, but he's All-American.
The Naismith? No, what's
the Naismith Award? Excuse me.
I don't know. He's unbelievable. And I don't know. Is this year 2 for Dusty May, head coach there?
Yeah.
Golly, what he's put together in a second year there. My goodness. Of course, you look at what he built at FAU when he didn't even have a. Did you ever see the video of the practice facility at Florida Atlantic?
I have not.
It's not even a half a court. It's like a half a court, and if you cut it a third off of it, that was the practice facility that they had.
No way. They got to have more than that. They're not like a.
When Dusty May got there, and when they made that Final Four run, they went on a tour of the facility behind the scenes. CBS Sports did, and goes, "Yeah, here's the half court. Here's our half court of the practice court that we have. Only it's a half a court, and then it's like part of it's cut off."
I got to see that
because it's ridiculously nuts.
That just doesn't sound right.
But he recruited Vlad Golden and all those guys, and then they come up to Michigan, and now he's just absolutely dominating everybody. It's ridiculous to see that. UConn. Did you watch UConn Florida last night? The big game in the Jimmy V Classic.
I caught the end of it. Pretty good game.
Now BYU also earlier in the day, a buzzer beating shot to beat Clemson. Talk about 2 different levels of games right there.
Both very good games, honestly, and BYU can probably hang with all those teams, frankly.
Yeah, that's true. If they can play, but they can't beat Nebraska. We know that they can't beat Nebraska.
Something like that.
It's true. They lost the Nebraska exhibition game. So you can say what you want. By the way, Nebraska is in action tonight, hosting Wisconsin, the longest winning streak in the country, on the line against the Badgers and the silent assassin Greg Gard.
It's their biggest test.
Oh, huge test tonight. It'll be a very, very difficult game. As I think every game in the Big Ten, for particularly Nebraska, may not be for Michigan, but for Nebraska, every game in the Big Ten is very hard.
Well, not if you're playing like Penn State. They're
no, every game is hard.
Did you see Penn State got beat by 40 by Indiana last night? 113 to 72.
Well, what was the guy's name? Trey or something?
Lamar Wilkerson dropped 44. He's really
10
good.
made threes on his own.
He's really good.
God, 10 made threes. That's ridiculous.
Sam Houston State transfer, of all places.
Hey, you know what? If you can stroke it, you can go play at the big boy level. That's for sure. If you can hit 10 threes, they're looking. Everyone's looking for a guy who can knock down 10 threes. I can guarantee you that. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Grady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Well, after a couple of years where the Royals have been pushed back in the lottery, they finally get something to go their way. The draft lottery Royals end up with the number 6 overall pick in the 2026 MLB draft, despite pretty long odds. The Royals land behind the White Sox, who, God, they needed the first pick. That was a terrible, terrible roster. Rays pick second. Big bonus for them. Twins, Giants, and then Pirates. Giants getting a nice boost there. But then the Royals coming in 6th. The Rockies couldn't catch a break there at the 10th overall selection. And the Rockies, they need to be behind the Rays or behind the White Sox where they need to be.
I feel bad for them.
Yeah. Some other winter meeting news. Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers. Why not? I think they have like $115 million on the pitching staff alone.
In their bullpen, honestly. I mean, because they paid Tanner Scott like 40, 50 mil last year, and he got hurt.
Than like 3 or 4 franchise total payrolls. They have it in the bullpen.
That's such an overpay for Diaz, too. I mean, you can find guys just as good or a little worse for way cheaper.
Mark my words, Connor, when this year comes to an end and for 2026, we are going to have a shutdown. We are not going to see baseball start on time. There's no way.
It wouldn't be surprising.
We are not going to start on time. I'd be shocked if we play half a season. I think it's going to be a really long, drawn-out 2026 MLB baseball season because I don't think the owners and the players are going to agree on anything. Owners are going to want a cap. Players aren't going to want it. It's going to be ugly. Get yourself ready.
Shock me. Would not shock me.
Ready. Also, by the way, one of my favorite players, Kyle Schwab, staying with the Phillies, unfortunately. Come to Arizona. I want to see you there, Kyle. That's where I wanted to see you. But
he's not going.
He's going to stay
anywhere.
Yeah. There you go. Does it for our show today. We'll see you back again tomorrow in 23 hours for a Thursday edition and the beginning of a very busy 3 days locally in sports. That's tomorrow on the Morning Blitz. Have a good one.